image of the person and the life that had led up to that moment would be me jumping off a rock into the ocean. Just Christine. I had never even gone by Christine Blasey Ford. I'd always used Dr. Blasey at work, or simply Blasey to my colleagues. And when I'd gotten married, I haphazardly changed my name to Ford on some things, Social Security, but not others, driver's license. Old friends from back east called me Chrissy. My identity was fractured, dependent on the setting. Suddenly, though, it was decided for me. Without signing up for the job but wholeheartedly agreeing with the cause, I was ushered into the #MeToo movement and heralded as a symbol of the importance of believing women, all the while still grappling with my own experience in relation to sexual assault. I didn't take the enormity of the responsibility lightly, nor did I have control over it. It took on a life of its own. One thing was clear: Chrissy was gone. Going forward, I would be known around the world by this 3-part label: Christine Blasey Ford. But I was never really known. I was scrutinized, yes. Profiled, sure. Everyone seemed to have an opinion about me. But almost no one knew the real person behind the headlines, the frequently passed around quote, indelible in the hippocampus. I'm often asked, what made you come forward? Like it was a single decision made in one swift move. A swan dive into the stranger-than-fiction political drama surrounding the Supreme Court. In fact, it was more like walking to the diving board, getting to the edge, going back down, and then climbing back up, shifting back and forth, stalling, all the while people watching from the sidelines are alternating between cheers of, "Do it," and screams of, "Don't jump." People think that I came swinging into the middle of the Supreme Court confirmation hearings at the last minute, an unlikely wrench thrown into a process already steeped in bipartisan messiness. But by my September 27 testimony, I'd been navigating the bureaucratic labyrinth for months. The process of coming forward consisted of 1,000 different decisions that happened over the course of the summer of 2018. Though the methods through which it happened were far from ideal, I never wavered in my belief that sharing this information was essential. If it had been a different job title on the line than Supreme Court Justice, perhaps I would have kept quiet. But I just knew I couldn't live with myself if every time the Supreme Court was in the news or made a decision that affected the entire country, I had to think, I should have said something. I figured at the time that I could lay out the facts and then never have to talk about it again. Hold for laughs. And so I found myself in front of a room full of senators, lawyers, and reporters, reading a statement I had painstakingly prepared the day before instead of the one that had been written for me. Cameras clicked away. I worried that my voice was too quiet, while also feeling it echo off the walls. It felt as if everyone else in the room was holding their breath. I answered questions that ran the gamut from straightforward to strange. There was no room for nuance, no chance to add any context beyond each carefully worded response. I was called the most credible witness in history by some, but it wasn't because I was a good testifier. My voice was shaking. I was clearly uncomfortable. I think the real reason I was believable was that I had approached it as the scientist I am and taken it as seriously as I did my work. Science is the pursuit of truth, and in that regard, I was a professional. I couldn't control the outcome. I had divested from that long before I showed up to testify. I could only step up and do what I felt was right, even if I really didn't want to. Once the nomination was confirmed anyway, it was clear that I and Anita